What's up, everyone? Welcome to the St. Philly Sports History for August 11th, 2024. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. Welcome to a Sunday edition of the podcast. It's going to be a beautiful day. Spent the day yesterday getting leaves out of the backyard. Hopefully today it's going to be a pool day. And I think today is going to be a little bit nicer than yesterday anyway. So good decision to do the leaves yesterday. But some quick housekeeping notes before we get started. Be sure to follow me on social media, Jimbo_Mont at Twitter and TikTok, at Philly Jimbo on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's the key. Even if you're listening on a podcast, subscribe to the YouTube channel. That helps us grow and all part of the algorithm. And then just spread the word. If you're at the pool, if you're at a family function, vacation, work, whatever, just spread the word. Mention it. And that, I think, is the biggest way we've grown so far. So just keep spreading the word, that whole grassroots movement as we approach year 2. Hard to believe, but good things are coming. Good things have been happening. So thank you all. Be sure also to check out my boys over at the Clashing Conferences podcast. They're doing a good job with baseball. Football season, they are gearing up for, and that's available wherever you get your podcasts as well as on YouTube. It's also back to school season. Get your kids gear from Philly Goat. Be sure to use that promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off your order. That also helps us out and lets Ryan and the team over at Philly Goat know you're listening. They got you covered, though. They got stuff for everyone, all the teams, Philly-centric, Philly pride, whatever you need, they have. They also have the stickers, which my kids were looking at them the other day. They're excited for stickers, so might have to be making a sticker purchase here soon as well. They're actually good for the back of your car window, too. So go to Philly Goat, use the promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off your order. That's phillygoat.com, promo code Jim Montgomery. And then don't forget about the watch party on August 25th with Crucker down at the Palladium at 2 o'clock. Still trying to figure out my schedule and routine for that day. Would love to bring the kids to meet Crucker. Just not sure if the Palladium on game day would be the place to go, but stay tuned for that. All right, not going to spend a lot of time on this because that was just a ridiculous, absolutely pathetic game by the Phillies yesterday. And I got to be honest, they're starting to get annoying. Like, when they were in a slump, it was one thing because you knew, okay, this, that, and the other, it's a slump. It happens. When they were doing well, obviously that was fun. Now they're just inconsistent, which is ridiculously annoying. I mean, Nola was just not good. He was the complete opposite of playoff Nola yesterday. They were leaving runners on base, which is playoff Phillies, unfortunately. Marsh is struggling. They just can't seem to knock a runner. I mean, the first 3 innings, they had Gallen on the ropes and came away with no runs. So it's just frustrating that it's just annoying. I mean, annoying, frustrating, whatever adjective you want to throw in there, especially because it was the first game I was able to watch in a week, and that was the effort they put up. Come on, guys. Like, and if the frustration and annoyance did not get to your peak level yet, Tawan Walker will be back in the rotation on Tuesday, so buckle up. I mean, this has been a gauntlet part of the schedule for them, and they played well at times. They played horrible at times, and it's just, would the real Philadelphia Phillies please stand up? I don't know. Sanchez is on the mound looking to get the split today with Arizona and earn that 5-5 road trip. I guess if they win today, coming home with the Marlins and Nationals on the schedule, I guess I can take a deep breath and say, okay, it's just the eye test, though. What I'm seeing is because the potential is there. They've showed glimpses of it throughout the season. Even on this road trip, they showed glimpses of it. Can we just be consistent? As somebody who thrives with consistency and schedules and routines and doesn't like change, like Phillies, you are killing me. You are more responsible for the gray hair in my beard right now than my kids and my wife. Like, come on, Philadelphia Phillies. But they're on it for Hopefully they can bounce back. And like, can we just get runners in? Like, that's the thing. Like, they're getting guys on base. They just cannot get them in, which I feel as though, like, sometimes like you see the trends historically with the Eagles. No linebackers. They just sometimes get gashed up the middle, whatever, on defense. Going back to John Chaney at Temple, always got killed by guys that were hot with 3-pointers. It's just the way it is. This Phillies team, the thing is, and this goes back to 2008, bats go cold and they can't knock anybody in. Part of that obviously is the way the game has progressed. It's all about the long ball, no small ball, no manufacturing runs. But for the love of God, like, just be consistent. Like, one day they'll hit 600 with runners in scoring position, and the next day they've hit 100. Like, all right, enough, because I'm not going to let them bring me down. It's ridiculous. New day. Let's get the 500 is the number today. That is the number of the day. If this was Sesame Street, the number of the day is 500. Let's go 500 on this road trip. Let's split the series with the D-backs. And I really do think, and they're slowly becoming one of those teams that I just cannot stand. Yes, they're not a division team, but almost like Tampa Bay, the Buccaneers for the Eagles. I just cannot stand them. I hate them. And the 49ers. Like, the Diamondbacks are slowly getting to that level. So let's go. Cristopher Sanchez, throw a gem today. Here we go. All right, Eagles back in practice today as they gear up for Thursday's preseason game against the Patriots. They started joint practice with them on Tuesday leading up to it. And just the final little bow on Friday, not yesterday, Friday's preseason game. I asked you for the question of the day yesterday, who was your standout star? And it was split. 40% of the vote went to Jeremiah Trotter Jr., 40 went to Keely Ringo. The rest were split between Will Shipley and Quinyon Mitchell. But hard to argue. Trotter was all over the field. And like I said, that's an instinctual thing. Like, you can't necessarily teach somebody. Like, you can work on strength. You can work on tackling and things like that. But just having that instinct to know where to be to make the play, and that comes obviously from his dad being Jeremiah Trotter Sr., but all over the field making plays, and that is something you cannot teach. And then Keely Ringo has a legitimate shot to start and work, even if it is working in. I really like this dude. I thought he played well last year as well, so I'm excited to see what the future holds. But as always, thank you for participating in the question of the day. There'll be another one later in the show, 267-495-8531. That's the Back to the Future voice and text line to get in to vote on the question of the day and get anything else Philly sports related off your chest. Vent about the Phillies, inconsistent, whatever you want to talk about. It's ridiculous. And then don't forget, tomorrow, our Eagles preview starts. 20 questions in 20 days leading up to the start of the season in Brazil. Finish out the month of August with your burning questions, my burning questions, the questions surrounding this team, and we'll kind of take an in-depth look at that, culminating with my predictions for the season for the Eagles. That all gets underway tomorrow. 20 questions in 20 days, and the sky is the limit. I'm very bullish on them, but I'm sure they're going to be inconsistent just like the Phillies are, because that's what the Phillies, Eagles, Sixers, all of them, that's what they do. They're inconsistent. It's ridiculous. All right, Sixers news, and this is tied with today's Philly Olympic Spotlight. Our Philly Olympic Spotlight is one Joel Embiid, who is a gold medal winner. Played 11 minutes, scored 4 points, all on free throws yesterday, 3 rebounds, 2 assists, and a steal. I thought he played well, and the team played better when he was in there. I couldn't believe he didn't play the second half. Like, they were up 8 points at halftime, and they could have won that game going away. I don't know why Steve Kerr did not. I mean, there's a lot of questions about Steve Kerr's coaching throughout this tournament, but why was Joe on the bench the entire second half? And like LeBron, I noticed something about him throughout this tournament too. There are times when he is great and can take over a game. There are times where it's just, and maybe now anyway, maybe not so much earlier in his career, but I felt like he was getting in the way yesterday, just trying to do whatever. So no reason why Joe should not have played more in the second half of that game yesterday. He did average 13 points, 3.5 rebounds, and 2 assists for the tournament. But I think my biggest takeaway for Joe and the Sixers throughout the Olympic tournament is the fact that he did step up when they needed it. He made because he had better players around him, he didn't feel the need to sort of take over and take up the stupid shots from like double team from the top of the key. He did shoot his 3-pointers, but he was more selective about them, which allowed him to have a better percentage. So I'm hoping with the emergence of Tyrese Maxey, Paul George being there, this experience, I think, should change the way he plays. I know he says he's not going to get anything out of it, and maybe not the style of his game, but I think just the mindset and the mentality that he does not have to do it all, to trust his teammates more, especially now that he has teammates that are trustworthy. So I think overall it was a positive experience for Joe. Obviously, Steph Curry was out of his mind. Like, he had zero business shooting that last 3-pointer. But you kind of just knew as soon as he threw it up, it was going to go in. It's hard to hate Steph Curry. My son we got him a pair of Steph Currys for school this year, and they actually have a little bit of almost like a fluorescent yellow at the bottom. So he was excited. They're his gold medal shoes. But Steph Curry in the United States winning the gold medal yesterday, Steph Curry just took over the game and was out of his mind. But your superstar MVP for your 76ers, Joel Embiid, was today's Philly Olympic spotlight. And I think it was a very beneficial tournament for him because of, like I said, I don't think it's going to change the way he plays per se, but I think it's going to change his mindset. And I think you're going to see a lot more games where he has more assists, which is good because he's got the guys now that he can trust. So I'm excited for the season. Let me know what your thoughts are, though. You can always vent about the Sixers. Maybe, again, I'm being too patty positive about the Sixers, but 267-495-8531. That'll get you into the Back to the Future voice and text line. What do you think about Joe today's and our final Philly Olympic spotlight? Our local athletes performed pretty well and had a decent showing when it comes to medals. So I hope you enjoyed the Olympic spotlight, and just amazing how many people from this area are competing in the Olympics. So the fact that I had enough to cover the entire Olympic games, which end today, is just a testament to. And I didn't even go to the further outlying areas. Like, there was a lot in Berks County. There's a lot in Lancaster County, which I kind of kept the cutoff sort of within an hour or so of either Philly or where I live. There's a lot of folks from just above, not quite North Jersey, but not quite Central Jersey either. So great talent in this area when it comes to sports, and I am all here for it. But Joel Embiid is today's Philly Olympic spotlight. All right, we went a little bit out of order today, but I figured it was appropriate to combine that there. Finally, today, we are going to go back to 2004. I wrote 2024, and today didn't even happen yet. So we're going to go back to 2004. And on this day in 2004, the Phillies beat the Rockies 15-4 at Citizens Bank Park. Jim Thome hit 2 homers. Chase Utley and Jimmy Rollins also each homered as the Phillies pounded out 14 hits against the Rockies. On the mound that day for the Phils was Randy Wolf, who went 7 innings, gave up 9 hits, 4 runs, struck out 6, but went 3 for 3 at the plate with 3 RBI, including 2 home runs. Yes, you heard me correctly. 2 home runs in a game for pitcher Randy Wolf. It was the 8th time a Phillies pitcher has hit 2 home runs in a game. Coincidentally, it's the last time a Phillies pitcher has hit 2 home runs in a game. Randy Wolf joined Jack Knight, Phil Collins, not that Phil Collins, Rick Wise, who did it twice in the same season, one time while pitching a no-hitter. Larry Christensen, Randy Lurch, and Robert Person is the only Phillies to hit 2 home runs in a game. This happened on this day in 2004 as the Phillies beat the Rockies 15-4. Randy Wolf hit 2 home runs. Jim Thome hit 2 home runs. Chase Utley and Jimmy Rollins hit home runs. And it was just an offensive explosion for the Phillies. 8th time it happened. 7 different players. Rick Wise did it twice in a season, though, which is amazing enough. And the fact that he did one while he was pitching a no-hitter is even more amazing. However, that does lead us to today's question of the day. Will a pitcher ever hit 2 home runs in a game again? And you got to keep in mind that there are very, very few. Right now, I think Ohtani is the only one with potential to do it. He did do it last season, but now he has the Tommy John surgery. But what do you think? And this is the second Tommy John surgery for him, so not even sure how well he's going to be able to come back and pitch. But will a pitcher ever hit 2 home runs in a game again? 267-495-8531. That'll get you in. I highly doubt it will happen on the Phillies. Maybe Ohtani will do it, but it's hard enough to hit 2 home runs in a game, let alone do it in a game you're pitching. But let me know your thoughts. Will a pitcher ever hit 2 home runs in a game? 267-495-8531, or hit me up on any of the social media to get your vote in. All because on this day in 2004, Randy Wolf hit 2 home runs in a game against the Rockies, a 15-4 win. And he also was pretty solid on the mound that day, too, I would have to say. Scattered 9 hits, gave up the 4 runs. But when your offense scores 15, 4 is more than enough. You hear that, Phillies? If Aaron Nola is going to give up 4 runs, all you got to do is score 5. Just saying. Simple math here. Simple math. All right, the Olympics are over, so tomorrow we start our 20 questions for 20 days for your Philadelphia Eagles as we gear up for the 2024 season. Phils look to split the series with the Dodgers today with Cristopher Sanchez on the mound. I'm sorry, not the Dodgers, the D-backs. Look to split the series with the D-backs with Cristopher Sanchez on the mound and earn a 5-5 road trip, which at the beginning of the road trip, we said 5-5 we'd take. It was just, I don't think, if they're able to pull this off today, it might be the most frustrating 5-5, 10-game West Coast road trip of all time. And then Tawan Walker is back on Tuesday night, baby. Get excited. Anyway, go out and enjoy this beautiful day. Don't let the Phillies get you down. They'll be back. It's just annoying and frustrating and all of the other negative adjectives you want to say. But go out, enjoy this day. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History for August 11th, 2024. I'm Jim Montgomery, and until next time, I will see you when I see you.